then of course that's going to be what? What is that going to do to bond traders? Well, that's going to be bearish for bonds, isn't it? Why? Because obviously bearish for bonds, higher yields. Why? Because the economy is growing, and it's growing a lot faster than people had first thought it was going to do. So there is a bear trade in the first instance. So we get the B part of the trade narrative, don't we? And then the detail comes out, and we suddenly see that the actual prices part of the GDP actually were nowhere near where they were prior. We actually got a 4.1%, which is quite substantially different from 5.3%. And therefore, what we ended up getting is we ended up getting this kind of negative impact, which we then say, well, wait a second, that's bullish for bonds. So we then get this narrative that from the GDP numbers, we get a B-boo narrative, don't we? We get a B-boo narrative, which means that we're trying to buy dips. A B-boo narrative is buy dips. Yes? And obviously that's what happened to the bond at 1:30 is we got this idea of buying the dip. It was around about 21, 22s. And then it rallied beautifully up to 10s. As I said, it's not a big trade, but it's still worth $600 profit on that trade, right? $600 profit on that trade initial in the spike. So that's how it played out. It's worked out relatively well for us. We did a good bit of business on it. And we'd already kind of suggested that we thought that something else was an opportunity, did we not? Did I not kind of put my head on the, or neck on the line a little bit on this trade here? I wasn't sure that that drop was justified. Just because of what I'd seen from the ECB press release, the initial press release. And I thought that it looked as if it was a buyable proposition. And you can see obviously that was at 1:20. Well, 1:20 was this drop here. And you can see that the gold price never went a single tick lower from the tweet sent out. Not a single tick lower. And you can see obviously that just bidding into this bottom edge here, you've obviously been able to take a 59 to 69 price for $1,000 if you decided to follow the tweet, which is a pretty good outcome when you think about it. I mean, that's a pretty bold call right there. I mean, it's obviously we haven't yet seen the press conference and it can go horribly wrong, but just the tiny little bit of detail suggesting that moving from a trajectory to a meeting by meeting basis, to me, was slightly dovish. To me, was slightly dovish. Do you agree with that? I'm not saying it's mega dovish, because until we get the presser, we don't actually know exactly what it means by that. But the face of it, which is all anybody's got, is what is on the face of that document. To me, it sounded a little bit dovish. To me, it sounded a little bit dovish, yes?